Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series where we're working together step by step through each of the ABRSM theory grades. There are lots of resources available to help you on my website. If you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF sheets. You can download those in US letter or A4 and they accompany each step of this series. There's a page there with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and you can also access information about the books I have available. I've written How to Take Your ABRSM Music Theory Exam. It's an exam technique guide. It's full of tips and techniques on how to best prepare for your exam and also how to make the best use of your time when you're working through your paper on exam day. So if you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find it all there. If you can give me a like, that'd be really fab, and subscribe to my channel to keep updated. There's lots more in store. And now we're going to continue with the 2017 practice paper for the grade 4 paper B. And so if you turn with me to page 10, we'll have a look at question 3. So once more, all of the questions in this question will relate back to this little extract of music here. So let's just crack on. So the first thing will be to choose the appropriate definitions for these performance directions. So have a go at that. If you don't know, guess, and then you'll learn by your mistakes. You always ever just writing in pencil. There's no alternative but just to revise, because this is the accumulation of all of the grades so far. So then, con anima, we've got two words here that need describing. Con is with, anima is spirited, so with feeling or spirit. If you think animated, you can see how that makes sense. There we go. And then we have here this, we first came across this in grade 1. That's just a plain old accent. There we go. So the next question asks us to rewrite the first note of bar 6, which is here. And we need to write it at the same pitch exactly, but we're changing the clef, and we also need to put in the key signature as well. So let's do that first of all. So this is the alto clef where this is middle C, so just bear that in mind. So we need 4 flats, so we've got B flat just below that line, C, D, E flat, C, B, A flat, and then D flat just above that line. And then let's have a look what we've got here. So if we think here's middle C, and we're on the every good boy, the B above that. I know it's B flat, but the key signature will take care of that. So from that middle C, we're up a 1, 3, 5, 7th. So 1, 3, 5, 7 is going to be on the ledger line. And so that will give us exactly the same pitch, but in a different clef. Let's move on to the next question. So we need to see if these statements are true or false. The first note of the melody is worth 3 demi-semiquavers. So let's have a look. The first note of the melody here. So let's have a look. We'll work it out without the dot just now. So we've got a quaver that is worth 2 semiquavers, that is worth 4 demi-semiquavers, and then the dot after it gives us half as much again, which gives us another 2 demi-semiquavers or 32nd notes. It's another 1 semiquaver, and so it's not worth 3 demi-semiquavers, it's worth 3 semiquavers. So that's false. A little bit of a trick there. Let's have a look now. The largest melodic interval in the whole melody is a perfect fourth, so we're going to have to just go through and have a look at the largest melodic interval. So let's have a look. So here's a pretty large interval. We'll look at that one. So that's a 1, 3, 4. That's a perfect fourth, so that's a perfect fourth, that's correct. Let's have a look at another big interval. So the next one is here, 1, 3, 4, that's a perfect fourth. Let's keep scanning. All these are next door or pretty close. All of these are quite close. So here's the next interval. Have I missed one? 1, 3, 4, and that's a perfect fourth. And here's a perfect fourth. So actually, yes, the largest melodic interval is a perfect fourth. So that's true. Moving on. So we need to describe the time signature as simple or compound, or duple, triple, quadruple. So we need to just have a look at that. So we're in 9/8. Now 9/8, we can see that we're in 1, 2, 3 groups of 3. That's what 9/8 is. 9/8 represents, I'll just sketch out here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 groups of quavers, 1, 2, 3, and so it's compound time because we're counting in divisions of 3, and there is 1, 2, 3 main groups, so that's triple time. There we go. Okay, next one, how many pairs of tied notes appear in the melody? So here we've got to watch out which is a tie and which is a slur. So we've got slur, there's a tie, so that's 1. 2, that's a tie, note head to note head, exactly the same pitch. All those are slurs. That's a slur because the pitch changes, so watch out there. We're going from a natural to a flat, so they aren't ties. There's a tie, 3, there's slurs, 4, so there's 4. So just watch out you don't get tricked by here. Although it's note head to note head, the pitch changes from natural to flat. So there we go. The answer to that one is 4. The notes bracketed in bar 4 form the scale of F minor. Which form is used? Is it melodic or harmonic? So here we've got F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. So we've got the whole scale, but we're going in step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 are raised from the flats to a natural. Now the harmonic minor only has the raised 7th, and that's going up and down, but if you remember, the melodic minor has the raised 6th and 7th as you ascend, and then it would come down in the key signature only, and so that's the melodic minor form. Which other key has the same key signature of F minor? So we need to think about the related keys, and F minor is related to A flat major, which has the same key signature. So now just a little bit of observation. How many times does this rhythm occur? Dum, dum, da. I just find it easier to sing it as I go. So we've got dum, da, 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. 4. And that's that completed. Let's turn over the page. So page, oh, I still need that. Let's just pick that up. We're still referring to this. So carrying on, we need to name a standard orchestral string instrument that usually uses the alto clef. There's only one possible answer to that, and that's the viola. That's the only instrument that uses the alto clef. And then we need to name a family of standard orchestral instruments other than strings and name its high sounding member. So there's a couple of options here. There's a few options. So if you said woodwind as the family, your highest instrument is flute, or you could say piccolo, which is even higher That's also, but there isn't always a piccolo in the orchestral part. If you've chosen brass, that's another option. You could say trumpet. So either of those will do. So then a cellist may be asked to play. So that's a true statement, that's a string term there. And here a trombonist may be asked to play consort, that's with a mute, so that's a true statement as well. So there we go. So we'll just have a look at the next question. And we're looking at some scales. So we've got a few things to do. We need to add the correct clef here, and then we need to add any necessary accidentals. We don't use a key signature, but we're going to have to bear that in mind. So we need this to be C sharp melodic minor. So for this to begin and end on C, that's got to be bass clef. And now we need to make this C sharp melodic minor, which is related to E major, which has a key signature of F sharps, C sharps, G sharps and D sharps. So let's just do that. So then F sharps, watch the clef. C sharp will come twice because it begins and ends on C sharps, G sharps and D sharps here. If you find it difficult reading that low in the bass clef, by all means just write down your notes C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and then you can check that you've got your F sharp, C sharps, G sharps and D sharps. Whatever it makes it easier for you to answer that question quickly and correctly, just sketch that out. You can always rub it out when you're done. Now the melodic minor has the raised 6th and 7th as you ascend. However, as you descend, it comes down in the key signature alone, so there's nothing else for you to add there. Let's look at this next question. So we need to write a key signature for D flat major, and then we need to write 1 octave ascending. We can use semi-breve so you don't have to worry about stems. So let's begin on the key signature, which is B flats, E flats, A flats, D flats and G flats. And then we'll begin on a low D so we can go up without too many ledger lines. Line, space, line, space, oh, space, line, space, line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, beginning and ending on D, and that's the job done. You'll notice how many times we've had to use key signatures or refer to and think of keys, so I would always write those key signatures out before you even start your paper. That's always a good tip. So that is the end of that question. We'll look at the next question in the next video. I do hope that's been of help to you. I hope that you're enjoying it. I certainly am. If you can give me a like and subscribe to my channel to keep updated, there's lots more in store. Please do go to sharonbill.com and make use of all of the resource that's available to help you there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.